Welcome to this week's module on Standard Operating Procedures, commonly known as SOPs. For this module, the Cook Alliance and the California Conference of Directors of Environmental Health are partnering to provide more information about an important part of your MEHKO application, the Standard Operating Procedures. My name is Kendra Wise, and I'll be your guide for this module. I'm a former health inspector and am now working with the California Conference of Directors of Environmental Health to support MEHKO programs statewide. Welcome, and let's begin. Standard operating procedures, also known as SOPs, are a required part of each MEHKO operation and explain how you're going to acquire, store, prepare, and serve food safely. They help demonstrate your general food safety knowledge and give you an opportunity to think about how you will use this knowledge to keep food safe with your particular menu in your particular MEHKO. In this module, we'll go over the main parts of a standard operating procedure, and we'll use a fictional MEHKO as an example to help us understand how to fill out an SOP form. Let's get started. California Health and Safety Code requires that MEHKOs give their Environmental Health Agency a standard operating procedure to review. It also lists the things that are required to be in a MEHKO's standard operating procedures. These are a list of all the food and beverages you will prepare and serve in your MEHKO, otherwise known as your menu, how you will handle and prepare your menu items, how you will clean and sanitize utensils, and how often you will clean and sanitize them, how you will dispose of trash and other wastes, including wastewater, how you will keep potentially hazardous food at required holding temperatures until it is picked up, served, or delivered, and the days and times you plan to use your home kitchen as a MEHKO, which are known as your operating hours. Many environmental health agencies have standard operating procedure templates or forms that you will need to use when you are preparing your application. These forms will ask for the information that is required by state law to be in an SOP, and they may also include additional information that will help you understand food safety requirements for a MEHKO and help your environmental health agency understand your particular MEHKO. Read the instructions for any SOP templates or requests carefully. Remember, it's okay to ask for clarification if you don't understand something. Filling out your SOPs correctly requires you to have good food safety knowledge. For this reason, it's very helpful to get your Food Safety Manager certificate before you apply for your MEHKO. The information you learn as part of the Food Safety Manager certification process is exactly the information you will need to complete your SOPs correctly. Completing your SOPs after you've completed your Food Safety Manager certification will save you time, since you'll understand how to answer the questions correctly. It may also save you money if your environmental health agency charges by the hour for the time it spends in plan review, since SOPs that are correct and complete are typically quicker to review and be approved than ones that need to be reworked. Finally, remember that SOPs are a useful tool in helping you keep your MEHKOs food safe and your business running smoothly, but they don't reduce or transfer your responsibility for your MEHKO's food safety. That responsibility, like the other responsibilities of running your home business successfully, remains with you and your employees. To learn about SOPs and how to complete them correctly, we're going to use an imaginary MEHKO called Sunday Picnics for our case study. At Sunday Picnics, picnics are available by advance order only on Sundays and can be picked up at the MEHKO or delivered. Our first step in the SOP is to provide a complete menu and describe all the types of food being served. Here is the menu for Sunday Picnics. As you can see, the menu gives a reasonable amount of detail about each menu item. Each item is listed, and the details are given for items with general names, like spread, a menu option that we see in the Grazer Picnic. We see that spread means either tapenade, harissa hummus, or caramelized onion and blue cheese dip. You can check with your environmental health agency to see if a menu with this level of detail is sufficient, or if they'd like a list of ingredients for each menu item. The person reviewing your SOPs may ask for additional clarification if there's a menu item that they would like more information about. More detail about each menu item will be given in the food preparation part of the SOPs, which is the section that we'll talk about next. SOP Step 2 is to explain how you will handle and prepare your menu items. In this part of the SOP, you'll give more detail about what is in each menu item, how you'll prepare it, and what steps you'll take to keep it safe during preparation and before service. You'll need to do this for all menu items, even for those that are not potentially hazardous foods. On the next slide, we'll look at a single menu item from Sunday picnics, their macaroni salad. Here we have an example of how Sunday Picnics prepares its macaroni salad. For each item, the SOP lists the ingredients for the menu item, how it is prepared, and how it is stored until it is served. This item is a potentially hazardous food, meaning that it could cause foodborne illness if not kept at safe temperatures, so it's especially important to show how it will be kept safe during food preparation and while waiting to be served. The macaroni salad is made from scratch at the MEHKO. Any foods that need to be washed are washed in a cleaned and sanitized sink using sanitized dishes and utensils. In this example, Sunday Picnics might drain the washed vegetables in a colander and then use that colander to also drain the pasta. If this is the case, the colander needs to be washed, rinsed, and sanitized between these uses to make sure that any pathogens that were washed off the raw vegetables don't cross-contaminate the cooked pasta. Once the vegetables are chopped, they are put in the refrigerator to chill while the pasta is cooking. Next, the dressing is made and refrigerated until it's ready to use. The pasta is boiled and then drained and cooled quickly in an ice water bath. Cooling hot foods quickly for items that are served cold, like potato and pasta salad, is really important to help prevent foodborne illness. Once the pasta is cooled, it's mixed with the cold dressing and the cold chopped vegetables. Since all of the ingredients were cold before mixing, the vegetables and dressing from the refrigerator and the pasta from the ice water bath, the macaroni salad should be close to or below 41 degrees Fahrenheit after it's mixed. Just to be sure, the macaroni salad is stored in a shallow layer in a metal food pan, which will help it cool quickly in the refrigerator. And the temperature of the macaroni salad is checked 30 minutes after it's gone in the refrigerator to make sure it's at the right temperature, at or below 41 degrees Fahrenheit. If for some reason the macaroni salad is not at or below 41 degrees Fahrenheit when the temperature is checked 30 minutes later, it can be split into smaller batches, and each smaller container could be put in an ice bath or cooled with sanitized cooling equipment, like an ice paddle. The macaroni salad remains in the refrigerator until it is ready to be served. If it sounds like a lot of work to do this level of detail for each menu item, you're right. But by going through each menu item, the MEHKO operator can think about how they'll keep each item safe in their MEHKO. It also demonstrates the MEHKO operator's food safety knowledge, and it can help streamline preparation because you've thought the process through before starting to make the dish. For example, the MEHKO operator for Sunday Picnics originally planned to chop the vegetables and mix the dressing while the pasta was cooking, but realized that if the veggies and dressing were prepared first and then stored in the refrigerator, they would be cold when mixed with the cold pasta, which is better for food safety. So they changed the order of preparation for this menu item to help keep the food safe and the kitchen flowing smoothly on MEHKO days. Your standard operating procedures will include discussions of making sure that all potentially hazardous foods are cooked properly and stored at proper temperatures. In order to make sure that foods are kept at safe temperatures, you'll need to use thermometers. Here are the two types of thermometers that you will need for your MEHKO. The first type, which you see on the left, is a thermometer with a metal probe that you'll use to check the internal temperature of foods. You can use these to check the temperature of foods while you're cooking them. For example, to make sure that a chicken breast is cooked to at least 165 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 seconds, or to check the temperature of foods while you're keeping them hot or cold. For example, You could use a thermometer like this to make sure that the macaroni salad in the last example was cold after 30 minutes in the refrigerator. Be sure to sanitize the metal probe of your thermometer before and after each time you put it into food using a food-safe sanitizer. Also, understand how to calibrate your thermometer, how to make sure that it is giving an accurate reading. The second type of thermometer pictured on the right-hand side of your screen is an air temperature thermometer that you will need to have in your refrigerators and freezers. It shows how cold your refrigerator or freezer is. It should be kept in the warmest part of the refrigerator or freezer, and for many, that will be near the door. Both types of thermometers are relatively inexpensive, just a few dollars, and are essential in helping keep food safe. Your SOPs will also need to include how you'll keep your MEHKOs equipment and utensils clean and sanitized. The next slide gives a detailed look at Sunday Picnic's method for cleaning and sanitizing its equipment and utensils, including those that are too big to fit completely in the kitchen sink or dishwasher. Sunday Picnics has both a dishwashing machine and a 2-compartment kitchen sink, and uses both to clean the dishes, utensils, and equipment used to prepare and store food for the MEHKO. This part of the SOPs outlines exactly how utensils and equipment will be washed, rinsed, sanitized, and air dried using the dishwasher or the kitchen sink. There are a couple of things to notice here. The MEHKO operator washes, rinses, and sanitizes all equipment and utensils both before and after use. If the dishes were properly washed, rinsed, sanitized, dried, and put away after the last time they were used, why would you need to do all of that again before using them? In this case, Sunday Picnics only operates once a week. The rest of the time, the MEHKO's utensils and equipment are stored in cabinets and shelving racks, where they're protected, but they might collect the stray bit of dust. Washing and sanitizing the utensils and equipment before each use guarantees that they are clean and safe to use with food. Also remember that utensils and equipment must be washed and sanitized at least every 4 hours during continuous use, or changed out for a clean sanitized set every 4 hours. If you have a long day of food preparation planned, you'll need to either have an extra supply of sanitized utensils and equipment ready to swap out, or schedule in time to wash, rinse, sanitize, and air dry your utensils and equipment at least every 4 hours. Sunday Picnics uses 2 approved methods for washing the MEHKO's dishes: in a clean, sanitized kitchen sink with a sanitized drying rack, or in their home dishwasher. Because their home dishwasher doesn't have an approved sanitizing cycle, dishes washed in the dishwasher must be manually sanitized after washing. Whether using the sink or the dishwasher, the same process is followed. Dishes are washed with hot soapy water using a soap or detergent specifically designed for dishes, are rinsed in clean water, and then are sanitized with a chemical sanitizing solution before being air dried on a sanitized drying rack. This MEHKO uses a 100 part per million chlorine solution to sanitize their dishes. They make this solution by mixing plain, unscented household bleach with tap water until the available chlorine concentration in the solution is 100 parts per million. They use a chlorine test strip to check the concentration of sanitizer. Because chlorine sanitizing solutions don't store well for very long, MEHKOs using them should mix up a fresh batch regularly, at least once a day or more if needed. There are other chemical sanitizers approved for use in food facilities. Another common one is quaternary ammonium, often called QUAT for short. You can buy QUAT sanitizer and the test strips for it at restaurant supply stores. QUAT is not the same as household or cleaning ammonia, and those should not be used on dishes. Never mix cleaning or sanitizing chemicals together, and follow the labels on the packaging in order to use them safely. Sanitizers used on utensils in your MEHKO must be safe for food contact surfaces and are allowed to dry on the utensils and equipment. They are not rinsed off. This is why it's important to use test strips to check the concentration of the sanitizer before it's used on the utensils and equipment. When in contact with the dish or utensil at the correct concentration for the correct amount of time, the sanitizer will reduce microorganisms that can cause illness to safe levels and will be safe for food contact surfaces. Chemical sanitizers are used after washing and rinsing dishes to kill bacteria, viruses, and other microorganisms called pathogens that can make us sick and make sure that the dishes are safe for use. They can be used on utensils and equipment as well as on work surfaces like kitchen countertops and work tables. Sanitizers used on utensils in your MEHKO must be safe for food contact surfaces and are allowed to dry on the utensils and equipment. They are not rinsed off. The only way to know if you're using the correct concentration or strength of sanitizer is to check it regularly using test strips for the sanitizer you're using. This slide shows the test strips for two of the most common types of sanitizer, chlorine and quat. The chlorine test strips are on the left. They are white and they turn purple when exposed to chlorine sanitizer. For MEHKOs, chlorine sanitizing solution must be 100 parts per million and must stay in contact with the dish surface for at least 30 seconds. The quaternary ammonium, or quat, test strips are on the right. They're orange and they turn from orange to green when dipped in quat sanitizer. Quat sanitizing solution must be 200 parts per million and must stay in contact with the dish surface for at least 1 minute. To check the strength of the sanitizing solution, take a strip of the test paper and dip about 1/2 of an inch to an inch of the end of the paper in the sanitizer for a few seconds. Pull the paper out of the sanitizer and compare the color on the dipped end of the paper to the code on the test strip container. That will tell you if your sanitizer is at the correct concentration. You can buy these test strips at restaurant supply stores as well as online. Remember to make sure to get test strips designed for use in commercial kitchens. Test strips designed for use in swimming pools or industrial applications won't be useful to you because they have different concentrations listed and may not include the ones you need. Remember that you must always have sanitizer and the test strips for it at your MEHKO, and they must match each other. You can't use the test strips for quat on a chlorine solution or the test strips for chlorine on a quat solution. There are other approved sanitizers that MEHKOs can use, and if you're interested in using something other than chlorine or quat, talk to your local environmental health agency to see if it is an approved sanitizer. For your standard operating procedures fourth step, you'll explain how your MEHKO will handle trash and other waste. You already do this in your home, but you may find that you need to make adjustments to keep things running smoothly, your home and business sanitary, and your relations with your neighbors and community positive. There are two main types of waste you will need to dispose of at your MEHKO: liquid waste, like dirty dishwater, and solid waste, like trash and recycling. All MEHKOs must be connected to a sanitary wastewater disposal system, and all MEHKO wastewater, including water from sinks, toilets, laundry machines, dishwashers, and melted ice, must be discarded into that system. Most MEHKOs are connected to a public sewer system. Some MEHKOs use an individual sewage disposal system called a septic system. If you have a septic system, your environmental health agency may need to evaluate your septic system to make sure it is large enough and in good condition. Even though fats, oils, and grease are often liquid, they should never be disposed of down the drain. When fats, oils, and grease are poured or washed down the drain, they build up in your pipes and the sewer system and can lead to clogs and damage, which can be very difficult and expensive to fix. All fats, oils, and grease should be disposed of in the trash. In the MEHKO Best Practices presentation, we talk about ways to safely dispose of fats, oils, and grease in more detail. All trash that your MEHKO creates needs to be put into leak-proof trash bags that are tightly sealed before they're put into a clean, leak-proof, and pest-proof container with a lid. The same is true for your recycling. It should be held in a lidded, pest-proof, leak-proof container until it's picked up by your waste hauler. Your trash and recycling needs to be picked up regularly. If you already fill your trash or recycling bins with your regular household trash and recycling, you may need to get larger bins, additional bins, or more frequent pickup. Remember that pests like rats, wildlife including birds, especially crows and seagulls, raccoons, and in some parts of our states, coyotes and bears, and domestic animals like dogs will make a mess if they can get into your trash can. Trash can also be a place for flies to lay eggs and multiply. So it's important to make sure your trash is bagged and closed tightly, and your trash and recycling cans have tight-fitting lids and are pest and animal proof. The area around your trash containers should also be kept clean and free of loose trash and debris. Just like the rest of your MEHKO, you want your waste disposal methods and areas to be clean, sanitary, and well maintained. This will also help you be a good neighbor and can help reduce the risk of your neighbors complaining about your MEHKO. Standard Operating Procedure Step 5. Describe how you'll keep food at required temperatures until it's picked up or delivered. At least some of your food will be potentially hazardous food that can support the growth of microorganisms that can cause illness. These foods must be kept hot at or above 135 degrees Fahrenheit or cold at or below 41 degrees Fahrenheit for food safety. Keeping potentially hazardous foods hot or cold is called keeping them under temperature control. This part of your SOP explains what foods you will keep under temperature control and how you will do that. Let's look at how Sunday Picnics handles this issue. Sunday Picnics serves cold food and stores all food in food-safe deli containers in the refrigerator until it is ready to be picked up by customers or delivered. For deliveries, food is taken from the refrigerator and put into insulated food transport containers with frozen cold packs. This makes sure that even on hot days, the food stays cold until it is given to the customers. Sunday Picnics also limits its delivery area to a 20-mile or 30-minute area around it, so that food stays cold and safe for its customers. It's important that you keep your MEHKO's food hot or cold if you are delivering it to your customers. For short trips of 30 minutes or less, you aren't required to keep the food in an insulated container, but it is required for trips that last more than 30 minutes, and it's a good idea for all foods. Insulated hard-sided containers made especially for transporting food are available at restaurant supply stores, and insulated delivery bags are available as well. You can also talk to your local environmental health agency to see if there are other types of equipment they would approve. Because MEHKOs are not allowed to use third-party delivery like Grubhub or DoorDash, all of your MEHKO deliveries will be done by you or one of your employees. This means that your MEHKO has complete control over food safety until it reaches your customers. SOP Step 6 is your operating hours. For this part of your standard operating procedures, you'll list the days and times you plan to use your home kitchen to both prepare and serve your MEHKO's food. The standard operating procedures include your proposed hours of operation, or when you expect to be preparing food and serving your customers. Please keep your neighbors and community in mind when you're setting your hours of operation, and make sure you let your customers know where they can park so they don't disrupt traffic or cause parking problems in your neighborhood. For our imaginary MEHKO Sunday Picnics, the MEHKO only operates on Sundays for lunch and dinner. The MEHKO will start preparing food on Sunday morning to get everything ready, and customers will be able to pick up or have their picnics delivered starting at 11:30 in the morning until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So the hours of operation for this MEHKO are from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Sundays, which includes both food preparation and customer service times. MEHKOs can serve up to 30 meals or meal equivalents a day or 90 a week. Your environmental health agency may reduce the number of meals you can serve in a day or in a week based on the space available in your MEHKO and the menu you propose. They will talk to you about that if it is a concern. You may not know for sure that the days and times you write down on your SOPs will work for you and your customers. It's okay to make changes later after you've had a chance to try things out. If you do make changes, please talk to your environmental health agency so they are aware of the changes. SOPs are one of the most important parts of your MEHKO application because they explain how you will prepare your MEHKO's food safely. Like the owner of Sunday Picnics, writing your SOPs may help you realize that changing the way you prepare a dish might make it easier and safer, even if it is something as simple as preparing the vegetables and dressing for a salad first, and chilling them in the refrigerator while making the pasta. If you get stuck or need help, contact your local environmental health agency for assistance. They want you to be successful and safe too. Remember that completing your Food Safety Manager certificate before you complete your standard operating procedures will make things a lot easier. Use the SOP template provided by your environmental health agency. Read the instructions carefully. If you don't understand something, ask for clarification. SOPs are detailed, but are an important part of your MEHKO. They are worth the time you will spend on them. Thank you very much for your time on this module, and enjoy the rest of the course.